Oh, this is a good question. This one is, I'd like to know your take on why alpha women have the most problem with men. All right. So, to be completely transparent, I was just having a conversation a few days ago about the term alpha woman, and why it's such an issue and why it causes so much problem. So let me make this clear. Most women desire a masculine man. All right. If not all, most women desire a masculine man. And I would argue that an alpha woman even more so desires a masculine man. The problem is that if you are an alpha woman, you are exuding masculine energy. And that is a deterrent to a masculine man. A masculine man is going to desire a feminine woman. Period. It's though the polarity of life is what we seek. We desire a balance. All right. Which is why you will notice alpha women have no problem attracting more passive, quote unquote, feminine men, or men who don't have their stuff together, men who will view the alpha woman as a come up and as an opportunity to stabilize his own life. But for the man who is an alpha man who already has his stuff together, who does not place a high value on the woman's accomplishments and financial status, he's going to be deterred by the masculine energy. And so a lot of alpha women really get conditioned to walking around and exuding that masculine energy and feel like, well, why should I have to change that? Or even start to believe the lie that that's just who they are. And in reality, a woman exuding masculine energy is not who she is. That masculine energy is a defense mechanism. That masculine energy is what she has conditioned herself to believe she has to carry in order to succeed. All right. And so she's now developed this perception that that is who she is, but she is not that person. And one way you can even notice that is you'll see a lot of women where put them around a child and they become super feminine, loving, nurturing, sweet, all these things. And put them around a man, they shut that whole thing down. And then some will say, well, I am feminine once I'm in the relationship. Yeah, but he ain't trying to figure that out when what you're showing him is masculine energy all the time. So the reality is that a woman, especially an accomplished woman, desires a man typically that is at her level or higher. And what that type of man values is not what that woman is exuding. And so as an alpha woman, so to speak, really, I don't even like the term alpha woman. I really just feel like, yo, it's about tapping into your feminine energy. When you learn how to do that, everything will change. You have to become your true self. And I really truly believe when I say that your true self is in your femininity. Your peace is in your femininity. But understand this, when I tell you to tap into your feminine energy, it ain't for a man. It's for you. Like, I guarantee you, regardless of men, you're going to be happier. You're going to be more at peace. You're going to be less stressed. You're going to find greater health when you get more in tune and exude more feminine energy. That masculine energy on a woman can become very toxic and unhealthy. And so it not only damages her ability to get the type of man she desires, but it lowers her quality of life even when she doesn't realize it. So, I mean, there's a lot more I can say, but that is the gist of it as to why alpha women struggled with men and love so much. All right, somebody made a mention about alpha women again. Alpha women want to be respected and cherished. Listen, so let me say this. I respect you and I love all of y'all, whether you're an alpha woman or not. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that, number one, stop calling yourself an alpha woman. You're defining yourself by the thing that is going to deter what you desire. When you keep saying I'm an alpha woman, it's like you're pulling the masculine energy towards you as far as what you're gonna now exude, what you're now gonna walk in. And again, you want a masculine man. A masculine man is not gonna be down for that. Not in a relationship. Like, he might sleep with you. You know what I'm saying? He might kick it with you. But as far as actually taking you serious and marrying you, oh, hell no, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you want that, you got to tap into your feminine energy. There's no other way around that. I can't give you no sweet thing or make you feel good about being an alpha woman. Like, nah, again and again, you're not an alpha woman. You're a woman. You're a woman that knows how to handle business when necessary. That can be respected, cherished, and loved. But when you call yourself an alpha woman, you're now moving into the realm of having a dominant masculine energy. I'm not saying you can never have, like, we're all going to have both masculine and feminine energy. So I'm not telling you to get rid of all the masculine energy. This doesn't work that way. What I'm telling you is that it cannot be your dominant energy. Your dominant energy has to be feminine. Let the masculine energy come out when necessary in moments, all right? And you still have to know how to master that, all right? And not lose control of it. But you have to have femininity as your dominant energy. And again, this ain't just for the sake of getting a man. This is for you. This is for your quality of life. If you don't fix that, you're gonna have problems. That's just the way it is. I can't tell you no different. All right, so we getting a lot of alpha women comments and questions. So, all right, we're going to keep it going a little bit. This is a hot topic. Clearly, we got a lot of alpha or semi-alpha women on here. This one says, how do we how do we be our full selves and alpha and be feminine? Don't want to suppress my greatness either. All right, so number one, your greatness is in your femininity. Like, stop thinking you have to be masculine to be great. You ain't gotta act like a man to be great. There is beauty and power in your womanhood. And you have to learn how to tap into that and wield that sword, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You've just gotten comfortable and conditioned to wielding the masculine sword, thinking that will get you further, when in reality, I would argue that the femininity would get you much, much further. You just don't understand how to apply it yet. Let me give y'all one simple example, and this is more in regular interaction relationships. So let's say you have a child, all right? And a semi-grown child. And you tell that child to go do something in the house, okay? And the child, and this is it can be your man, all right? But let's just continue with the child example. But this can apply to a grown man too. And you tell the child to do something. And the child says, okay, I'm going to get to it, right? You wait an hour, they still ain't do it. You tell them again. Now, you get really aggressive and assertive because they still ain't listen, they still ain't do it, right? Because you figure, okay, I'm going to have to put my foot up your behind in order for you to get this done. But how about if you tried for a second, rather than going to a more masculine approach to get them to respond, turn up the heat on the feminine. Get real sweet and lovey-dovey. Watch how you'll actually get people to respond to you better by being ultra feminine in that moment rather than going to the masculine. You see, we default, people in general, default to the aggressive, the more masculine, the harder approach, all right? But let me tell you, if you actually went harder on the feminine, you would get more people to do exactly what the hell you want them to do. Just try it. Like, if you think I'm just saying stuff, just try it. Just try it. Like, another example. Have y'all ever seen a woman who, like, everyone she is like baby, sweetheart, honey? She like always using terms of endearment. You ever see that woman having a hard time to get a man to do her a favor? No. That woman will get a man to paint her house, wash her car, carry her groceries, whatever the hell she wants. Why? Because she knows how to use her feminine energy to talk to people and get them to be receptive to her. There is way more power in your femininity. So when you say, how can I be great by maintaining the alpha, you don't need to be alpha to be great. You don't. It's a misconception. Just try the other way for a little while and see what happens. You're going to see better results and you're going to be more at peace. Watch. You ain't got to stress yourself out to get stuff done no more. Watch. Just watch. How long does it take a guy to determine if you're the one? All right. So in my honest opinion, men and women know extremely quickly, at the very least, if there is real potential here. So even if he can't say you're the one, he knows that he sees the potential of you being wife. All right. I want to say in the first week, first few days, to be honest with you. I think most who will dispute that are not intentionally looking for anything more or are not really open to anything more. But anyone who is open to it or looking for it, they see it very quickly. And then from there, it becomes, okay, Do we confirm that perception or do we undermine it? And it's like, okay, nah, I was wrong. This ain't gonna work. So I do not think it takes long. As far as officially saying, okay, she's the one, that will vary. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily about a time frame. It's more so about quality time spent. So, for example, if somebody could meet someone tomorrow and in 2 weeks they only spoke for a total of 2 hours, right? And so it may take them a while before they can say, yo, I feel like this is the one. But you got other people who could meet, and the first time they talk for 5 hours. In that first week, they speak for over, I don't know, 20, 30 hours. Like, so though they've known each other for less amount of time, they spent more actual quality time getting to know each other. And so their ability to recognize this person is the one is going to be a lot faster. But I also believe that I believe in connection, and connection is pretty instantaneous. So I do feel like people pick up on something immediately. Now, whether they're willing to fully embrace it as, yo, this is the one or not, that may take a little bit of time, but they feel it. When there's a connection, it's felt immediately. It doesn't take a long time for that. Should you tell your partner everything? I am of the personal belief that yes. I don't believe in holding anything back from our partners. I believe that when you're with the right person and there's a real connection, there's nothing we can't work through. And can you imagine being in a relationship where we feel like, yo, we know everything about each other? That creates so much security. That creates so much peace. That creates so much trust. Like, that's an amazing dynamic. Holding things back is just asking for trouble. So to me, it's like, yo, if I can't tell you all of who I am, then maybe we're not for each other. We just got to accept that. You know what I'm saying? If you can't accept my past and all these different things, like, granted, something's going to be hard to swallow. I get it. But I do feel like we should be able to share everything. We may not need to announce everything and be like, yo, let me give you my whole history. But if we have normal flow of conversation and questions are asked, be honest, be open, be transparent. You know what I'm saying? If we can't have that, then I think the relationship is going to be in trouble regardless. Is it true that one should wait at least 1 year or more based on how long your previous relationship lasted? No, that's not true at all. Again, time does nothing without the work you put in. And so it's not about the time, it's about the work. If you can heal in a matter of months, then you can get back out there and date in a matter of months. If you take a year off and you still haven't healed, then you're still not ready. So year or no year, it's about, have you healed? Have you learned? Have you grown? You know what I'm saying? Have you positioned yourself properly to receive what you desire? If you have achieved that in whatever time frame, then you are ready. It's about the work. It's not about the time. My twin's father is physically abusive and physically and mentally abusive. Why do us women keep putting up with men like that? People ask me why I stay, but I don't get it myself. All right, so one, let me just say I'm really sorry to hear that you are in a situation like that. And I just want to encourage you to, one, check out the domestic abuse hotline. There is a number. I wish I had it handy right now, but if you Google domestic abuse hotline, the national hotline, there's a number you can call. They have resources. They specialize in these areas. So I would encourage any woman or even man, because this happens to men too, who are in abusive relationships, please reach out to get some help. Even if you don't feel like you're ready to make a move as far as leaving, I understand that's hard for some people, regardless of whether you should. I mean, clearly you should, but I know that that can be difficult for many for various reasons. At least reach out to the hotline to listen to what they have to say, get the resources, start to prepare yourself mentally for what needs to happen in your life. Now, as far as why so many women continue to put up with this, it stems from a lack of healing. Plain and simple. And the reality, that can vary as far as some of you have grown up in abusive households and now you have normalized abuse. Some of you have developed unhealthy attachments to that specific individual. Some of you may be scared to be alone. Some of you may have financial attachments to this individual. Like, there's so many various reasons as to why, but in most cases, there is a lack of healing somewhere that causes you to struggle and entertain toxic relationships. So you can't just focus on the person that you're with right now. You got to focus on your life. What haven't I healed from in my life, in my childhood, in my past relationships, whether it be your parents, siblings, whatever. Some of you have been sexually abused and you've never addressed it, and you do not see the correlation between unresolved trauma from sexual abuse and the relationship that you entertain as an adult. But there is a correlation. It absolutely contributes to why you are there and why you struggle. So if you want to really break yourself free, because the key is this, listen, even if you leave this relationship, which I pray to God you do, and anyone who's in an abusive relationship, I pray all of you do leave that relationship. If you don't heal, then it is very likely you will find yourself in another unhealthy relationship. So yes, I want you to leave, but I 100% want you to heal. That's what's important. So whether you go to a therapist, a coach, I have a book called Love After Heartbreak that gives you the steps to healing. You can check that out. Get help somewhere. Again, call the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. They have free resources. They specialize in this. I highly encourage it. And also talk to God too. God don't want you in that situation. God never wants you in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe connecting with God will help. But a lot of times when we entertain the toxic, we become even more detached from God. And so recreating that connection with God can help strengthen us in moments like that and in unhealthy situations. All right. How long do you give your guy a chance to get your money on his feet? I mean, I'm assuming to get his money and get on his feet. He seems to have an excuse for why he can't move forward and living off me. All right. If he has excuses and he's living off you, time's up. It's a wrap. You ain't got to give him another month. You ain't got to give him another week. You ain't got to give him another damn day. Here's the thing. I'm okay if you want to give a man an opportunity to get himself together if he is showing an effort, if he is putting in the work, he is actually trying. And here's the key. Okay, he can't provide financially. Well, then take your ass in that house, go fix something, go run some errands for you. Like take burden off of you in a different area if he can't provide financially. Like I get it. Every dude don't got money. Every dude's not at that level yet. Okay, cool. There's a lot of other ways to provide for your partner. There's a lot of other ways to still be an asset in a relationship. So if this dude want to sit on the couch and do nothing, and I'm getting real passionate because I don't like that type of stuff. Like, yo, and it's not to, again, this ain't how all men are. So this is not a man issue. It's that specific man and men like him. Yo, if he wants to make excuses, lay up on the couch and have you paying for stuff, hell no, that ain't acceptable. He needs to go now. Because all he got in excuses. Like, yo, again, if he was putting in the work, I might give him a little time. But all he got is excuses. Nah, forget that. He's just going to keep using those excuses because you keep tolerating that BS. Get his ass out the house. It's done. It's a wrap. It ain't going to work. When he gets his stuff together and actually wants to put in effort, maybe we can talk about him coming back. Until then, hell no. Hell no. All right, let me take a deep breath. Again, real quick, if you want to join my coaching program, 20 spots available. Go to receivingmyblessings.com or DM me and I will send you the link. It is a life-changing program. I got thousands of women in there getting the help they need. It's serious. It will be worth it. So again, receivingmyblessings.com or DM me the link. DM me so I can send you the link. Real quick, again, if you are interested in joining the coaching program, which I break down feminine energy and how to tap into your feminine energy and all these different things, go to receivingmyblessings.com or DM me, direct message me, and I will send you the link to join the program. 20 spots, first 20 people to take it is theirs. So jump on it when you send me the message to get it or when you go to that link, receivingmyblessings.com. All right, so what do I think about couples moving in together after a year of dating? I'm not a huge fan of moving in together before, at the very least, engagement. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of risk that you're taking to move in together before we are actually, at the very least, engaged. But if you're going to move in together because you want to test run it or you want to see how we work in closed spaces, then there has to be a plan. So the mistake a lot of people make is they move in together and they say, all right, we're going to see how this goes. And there's this indefinite, no set plan as to, okay, when do we evaluate if we want to continue to move forward or not? So if we say, all right, we're going to move in together and we're going to live together for only 1 year. Now, if after 1 year, we have not determined that we can now move forward together in marriage, that next level, then what the hell are we still doing here? Like, don't get caught up with no specific plan in mind so that now you find yourself stuck on the lease, stuck financially tied to this person. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, I've seen people where they wait till they sign the new lease and now you want to evaluate the relationship. So now you're in month 1 of the new lease and you realize this ain't going to work. And now you got to spend the next 11 months feeling like you stuck. Nah, like, let's have a specific plan, and we before that year is even up, or 6 months, however long the lease is, maybe a month or two before the expiration of the lease, we have a sit down and determine where are we going with this. Are we happy with each other? If there are any issues unresolved, we need to move out. Why are we still living together if that would now be 2 years of being together? We still don't feel like we can move forward together? Nah, man. That's how people get themselves in a lot of trouble. So again, I think wait until engagement is the best. But if you're going to do it, have a plan and set some parameters. And thank you. Somebody posted the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I'm just going to read out the number real quick. It's 1-800-799-7233, the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So again, any of you who are struggling or in these relationships, I highly encourage you to call them and see what kind of help you can get. All right. Do you think it's possible for a man to be in his early 40s, still being processed on the other side of healing and deliverance by God, is worth waiting for if you feel he's the one? All right. So let me explain something to you. You never ever wait for someone. You don't wait on people, you wait on God. Let me explain the difference, all right? If you pray and you ask God, this is the one for me, and you feel God's telling you this is the one for you, and you ask God, okay, how shall I proceed? And God tells you, okay, you need to wait, and in that waiting, there's some things you need to work on, then by all means, you wait because you're waiting on God. You're waiting on what God told you. You're being obedient to God. You don't wait on people. You don't wait on people who say, well, just give me some time. I'm going to do this. Boom, 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 boom. People are fickle. And I don't believe in putting 100% trust in nobody because, again, the only person you can fully trust is God. So you've got to be mindful of, why are you there? Why are you waiting? And again, even if you are quote unquote waiting, it's not really waiting. You are preparing to receive. So preparing to receive means you still need to be active in your growth. You need to be active in getting ready for that amazing relationship. You need to be active in making sure that when the opportunity does come around, you are truly ready to make it work and make it something amazing. A lot of people be talking about, I'm waiting, all right? And you focused on them working on themselves and you ain't doing nothing that you need to be doing. Now the opportunity does come around, and guess who's throwing negativity into the relationship? You. Because you have some baggage you ain't realized. Because you got some things you get triggered from that you completely ignored because you made it about them having to work on their issues, acting like you ain't got some things you need to work on, acting like there ain't some things you need to get set straight before you get into a relationship. So please make sure if God's gonna have you wait, then that means he gonna have you preparing for something. And you need to find out what you need to be preparing for, what you need to be doing in that preparation process. Is dating a younger man a bad idea? No, it ain't about, listen, as long as the dude is legal, so like age is not an issue as far as I'm concerned, as long as we're keeping it all legal. So please, no illegal activities, no underage dating. Outside of that, nah, it's not about the age, it's about the person. It's about the connection. And I think people get so hung up on age, and it's kind of a ridiculous thing because, and I don't say ridiculous to be insulting to anyone who does take issue with age gaps. However, let me put it to you like this. If you met a man tomorrow, right, and y'all hit it off, and you guys are vibing. There's a connection there. You have everything. You got things in common. Like, everything is perfect. Like, you're like, man, this is the one. And then 3 days later, you talk, and it finally comes up how old he is, and it turns out he's 7 years younger than you. What did finding out he was 7 years younger change about the connection? Change about the vibe? It changed nothing other than your mental perception of what is appropriate with age gaps. And that's kind of ridiculous. Like, yo, we can't see the age. Well, in most cases, we can't see the age. So we're seeing the person. And if everything is right with the person, then why would we let the age deter us? Again, keeping it legal, all right? That doesn't make sense. That to me is, I've seen women have amazing relationships with younger men, vice versa, men, women, whatever. Like, to me, it's not about the age, it's about the connection, it's about the individuals involved. And then you'll have some people say, what do you have in common with them? Like, yo, as if age is the complete determining factor of values and hobbies and things of that nature, as if people of different age groups have never had things in common. Like, come on, y'all. Let's be real here. Again, it's about the connection. So ain't nothing wrong with it. Someone said being feminine isn't all about being sweet and lovey-dovey. It isn't all about that. No. There's so much more to feminine energy, but understand that when you are cold, when you are hardened, when you have walls up, then you're going to exude masculine energy. That is the reality of it. You may, because there's a lot of women who say, well, I am very feminine in the relationship. But the problem is the guy doesn't get to see what you are in the relationship. They're seeing what you are on the surface and what you're giving off. All right. And again, there's nothing wrong, or we have to accept that most women want a masculine man. Most men want a feminine woman. At least men who are in their masculine energy. That is just the reality of life. You know what I'm saying? And I think people are fighting it, but we have to stop fighting that reality. Listen, show me a couple where the woman is the masculine and the man is the feminine. And in most cases, even if she's okay with it initially, she will grow tired of that man. She will lose respect for that man. The sexual energy will be highly diminished in that relationship, and everything will start to fall apart. And what you will see is, if that woman ever steps out the relationship, you know who she gonna cheat on that man with? A masculine dude. Like, she gonna find her an alpha man, and that's who she's gonna end up hooking up with. And it's the same thing that happens on the other side. So there is what I call the balance of relationship energy. We crave that balanced energy. We crave that opposite energy. And so we should not fight that reality. But yes, it's more than just lovey-dovey and sweet, but you do have to understand that if you are very hardened and cold and very aggressive, that's going to give off masculine energy, and that's going to work against you, especially in receiving or finding the type of partner that you desire. Is it true once a cheater, always a cheater? No, it's not true once a cheater, always a cheater. One, let me say this, and this might not be a popular opinion, or a popular perspective. I believe everybody on this face of this earth is capable of cheating. All right. Not that everybody does cheat. Everyone is capable. It takes the right situation, right buttons pushed, right dynamics. It can happen. All right. So no one is 100% free of ever possibly doing it. However, with that said, a lot of people do not engage in it. And even some who have once fallen into that behavior, it was a lapse of judgment. It was a mistake. It was, there were various factors that contributed to it, but it wasn't about them being quote unquote a cheater at heart. All right. There are some people who approach relationships with the mindset of cheating is natural and normal. So they already set their mind on they're going to end up doing it. While there are others who genuinely believe in being faithful and loyal. And yes, there are plenty of men who believe in being faithful and loyal. And so there are some situations where some of those men have fallen into it. But again, that doesn't mean they're going to always do it. So bottom line, to wrap up that question, no, once a cheater is not always a cheater. You got to take a deeper look at what's going on with that person, why they even cheated. Are they cheating because that's the lifestyle to them? Was it an isolated incident? You know what I'm saying? And so that's my take on that. Once again, real quick, you want to join the program, 20 spots, first 20 people to take it, receivingmyblessings.com, or send me a DM, direct message, and I will send you the link so you can join the program. Is there something wrong with a person that's content with being single? Ain't nothing wrong with you or anybody who's genuinely. So let me be more specific. Ain't nothing wrong if you genuinely happy and at peace with being single. Number one, you should find happiness while you are single. You ain't gotta be happy that you are single, but you still need to find happiness while you are single. All right. However, let me just point this out. There's a lot of people talking about they content single, and you're really just scared to put yourself out there. You scared of being vulnerable. You view relationships as trouble, as potential hurt. And so you ain't really content. You just hiding behind the rock. You just hiding in your little corner. So don't lie to yourself. Be real about what it is. Now, if you're really at peace, if you're really happy, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But if you are just convincing yourself that you are okay with it and happy with it to validate your fears, to validate your unwillingness to put yourself out there, then that's a problem. That's a real problem. All right. So you need to heal, because I've seen a lot of people. I've had women come up to me at events, much older women, who they lied to themselves for years, for decades. I'm good. I don't need no man. I'm fine single. And now they, whatever Asian, like, yo, I'm lonely and I do want a relationship. And when they really came out with it, they were like, I always wanted one, but you know, they lost themselves in their work, or they hid themselves in their work. They hid themselves in their kids. Some of y'all using your kids to hide and trying to validate it by, I'm just making my kids come first. You just scared. Let's start fronting. Let's start fronting, because guess what? You can still be there for your kids and give them love and still be there for yourself. And you need to be there for yourself. You need to pour into yourself. Granted, the kids are a priority, but God forbid you make it all about them and forget about you. And now you drain yourself in a way that you become no good to your kids. You think you give them what they need, but in reality, what they need is a happy, healthy mother, as well as a happy, healthy father. All right? Because most people's issues come from dealing with toxic, damaged parents. And yes, you can be, quote unquote, all about your kids and still be toxic. You can make them a priority and still pass on unhealthy ways. So please check yourself and make sure that when you say that, it's genuine. And it's not you using them as a shield with life, using them as a way to hide from facing your reality and facing your issues and doing what you need to do to heal. Lord, that just came. I just had to let it all out. So my bad. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let me find another question here. All right, I was gonna skip this one, but I'm gonna answer it. It said, "What are your views on prenups and separate accounts in marriage?" So let me start with separate accounts in marriage. I believe in separate accounts in marriage. Here's why. I believe in two is better than one, and what I mean by that is I'm taking a logical approach of. So look at it like credit. If you combine the credits of the two spouses, you now have this one credit report. And if anything goes wrong in that credit report, they now have one credit report that has now been damaged and they have to try to fix. If they keep the credits separate, you always have a backup report to fall back on. So essentially, if I, as the husband, run across an issue and my credit gets jacked up for something crazy, we can now use yours to still navigate and do what we need to do. All right. So to me, from a strategic standpoint, I like keeping the credit separate, not because we're not one as a marriage, but again, I just think it's smart business. For separate accounts, same thing. God forbid the IRS or somebody freeze my account. Well, I don't want my wife's funds to be compromised. So if we have separate accounts, but we have transparency with those separate accounts. So, I'm not going to have this side account and you don't know what's in it. We're not playing that game. We're going to be transparent and honest with each other. But from a strategic standpoint, I think it is wise to have multiple accounts, because if something happens to one account, we can still access a different account. All right. Putting all the eggs in one basket from a business standpoint is not the wisest thing to do. So I like separate credit reports, separate separate bank accounts. We will still have a joint. We can have a joint account that will take care of bills or whatever. And then we will have separate accounts for different things, emergency fund, investment, whatever. So we're smart about this. Now, prenups. All right, I'm going to say it like this. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. This is the one thing that I'm a little bit on the fence about. All right, I'm usually very, I know what my answer is. But when it comes to prenups, for me personally, I'm not going to ask a woman to sign a prenup. All right, I have no fear of, if we get divorced, she going to take half. I don't care. It ain't that serious to me. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I think people make too much about their money. There's a way to set things up. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that when that woman or even that man is trying to take half or whatever, it stems from a very toxic situation. So if people would handle their marriages more maturely, I feel like it would avoid the conflict that comes from it. One, they may not even get a divorce. And if they did, it'd be a more civil situation. I'm not asking for it. Do I understand people who advocate for it? I do. And I think if two people want to agree to that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, so to speak. I don't think it's if we do a prenup, we're basically saying we're going to end up in divorce. Nah, I think people have to understand that unfortunately things do happen. And so I get it. All right. But me personally, I'm not asking for it. I'm not worried about that. If I was to marry someone and end up divorced, reality, I'll give you the damn half. I don't care. I'm cool. It ain't that serious to me, but that's me. All right, that's me. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. All right, so there's this quote I want to read to you real quick. And it says, I love this quote: compatibility is overrated. What's required is unity. Unity doesn't mean you're the same. It means you're together.